everybody, and welcome to this special Thanksgiving episode of the Ripple Effect podcast. We are so glad that you have joined us today, and we hope that you are having a wonderful Thanksgiving week. We hope that you get the chance to be with family and be surrounded by people that you love. For this Ripple Effect podcast, we're going to do things a little bit differently. It's going to be a little bit shorter, and we're going to get right to the point of Thanksgiving. Just a couple of things that we can be encouraged by and reminded by. I've got 3 questions that I'm going to ask and we're going to answer together about Thanksgiving. And they might be questions that you would want to ask your family, might be questions that you might want to ask your coworkers or friends to encourage thinking about what does Thanksgiving mean and how can we be filled with Thanksgiving for all that God has done for us. But I'm super excited about this holiday because I don't know if you guys know this, but Thanksgiving is actually like my favorite holiday.
Really?
If I had to pick between Christmas and Thanksgiving, I would choose Thanksgiving. Now ask me why.
Why? Why, Daniel? Why is Thanksgiving your favorite holiday?
There's so much pressure around Christmas. To get the gifts ready, to get the decorating ready, to buy the right gifts.
Let's be honest, you're really about the food.
Absolutely,
Thanksgiving's
100%.
all about food.
But it's also all about just being with people and eating, and it feels like a lot less pressure. Now, granted, I'm not the one doing all the cooking.
That's what I was going to say. We're not the one like being judged for how food turns out or something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Usually I get to just show up and eat. But it is one of my favorite holidays, and I do not enjoy you people out there, and I'm pointing at you, who have already started decorating for Christmas, and you totally negate Thanksgiving, okay? Give it its proper place. Enjoy Thanksgiving, then decorate for Christmas.
I feel like some people can have both. And it's not either or. It's both and. Eating their turkey with their family by the light of a Christmas tree.
Yeah, I could totally do that. Some year, I think I want to have that tree you leave up and you put hearts on it for Valentine's Day.
Just keep the tree,
But I don't know if Jess will go along with that. But I do love decorations. I mean, of course, we went in and have the stage decorated. Carly and all of them did awesome.
Fabulous.
I can let that slide because I know the reason why. That's right.
Wintry.
That's right. It's wintry. Anyway, we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And let me get to the questions here. Here are 3 questions that are good discussion questions for around Thanksgiving. We'll ask and answer. Number 1. What are some of your favorite family traditions during Thanksgiving? How have they changed over the years, and are there any traditions you'd like to introduce? Some new traditions that you'd like to introduce? Someone's got to go first.
I was thinking about Thanksgiving traditions, and we don't really have that many. One thing that I always loved doing was getting the Christmas tree Thanksgiving afternoon. Like, you would have Thanksgiving, you'd enjoy family time and all that, but then we did Christmas decorating. And sometimes we still do that, but because it was my tradition, now my mom wants the grandkids to help her do that.
Yeah.
So it becomes more like, let's go help grandma put up her Christmas tree. But it's still like part of the tradition. Yeah. It's not every year, but a lot of years we do that.
That's good. Mary?
I think mine is similar because my mother didn't allow us to decorate for Christmas until Thanksgiving was over. And so it was
I knew I liked her for some reason.
Thanksgiving was done. The kitchen was cleaned up. It was like this sign that, even if there was a few companies still left in the house, you could start hauling those things out. And
getting the Christmas tree out.
So even as an adult,
Do you still wait?
I sometimes put a few things my nativities out.
She sneaks.
I put my nativities out. Yeah. But So Thanksgiving meal's over. When it's evening, it's time to put on White Christmas and sing along and start putting up the tree. Get
Mr. Bublé singing.
No, Bing Crosby.
Oh, Mr. Crosby. You go back to okay, all right, good. The original. For me it was I wrote this question, so I should probably have thought about this already. I just like a big meal, and it seemed like every Thanksgiving we always had another family over. And I know you had the similar experience. Like, it just always felt like we had someone else. And So being around family and inviting other family in has always been a tradition. A tradition that I'd like to introduce is a football game. My kids are finally getting old enough, and I can't full on tackle the boys yet, but it's coming soon. It's coming soon. So hopefully a good. My grandpa used to be the all-time quarterback, and then we would play a little football game, and I didn't realize it at the time. I thought he just did it because he was the best. He thought he was the best, thrower. He just didn't want to run. That's what it was. He was like, I don't want to run.
Wise enough,
yeah, he was smart enough. Okay, question number 2. What, in the spirit of gratitude, share something you're thankful for this year. First, individually, what are you thankful for? And then what's, from our unique perspective, what's something you're grateful for about Timberlake Christian Church? Mary, how about you start this one?
I think this year I'm grateful for my health. This year I have a close friend who has cancer. My brother had some heart issues early, and it was just, brought back that really I have nothing to complain about. And I should probably pay a little bit better attention to the fact that I can still get up out of bed and do most of the things that I want to do.
Yeah, that's good. What about for the church? What are you grateful for about Timberlake Christian Church?
I'm so grateful that so many people at Timberlake care about kids. We just had the overnighter not too long ago at church.
Yeah.
And some of our kids that have grown up in church and are now volunteering came and offered their time.
Yeah.
And there was middle school students and new high schoolers that were helping, but also college age. And, this college age boy that's laying on his belly on the gym floor surrounded by little boys, and they're all working on something together. And it was just like, I'm so grateful that there are people who are willing to give of themselves to create safe environments for kids to come and learn about themselves and about God. And I'm so grateful for that.
That's really good. Brian, what about you? Something this year you're grateful for, and then something about Timberlake.
Yeah, I was thinking, and I kind of said this in I think the last sermon that I gave, that there's just been a lot of things this year break down, or it seems like every week we're dealing with something personally. And so I'm out of that. I'm thankful for God's provision that every one of those things, even though they've been really frustrating in the moment, He's helped us either personally or through other people helping us get through them. And, they talk about seasons, and every year is kind of a different season. And this one's been really weird for us. But it's taught us a lot of things too. So I'm thankful for that personally. And as far as the church, the first thing that came to my mind is just people's love for our family. Like, I work here, and I'm thankful, like, ministry-wise for the people I have to work with and all those things. And I could talk about a lot of those. But more than anything, my kids love to worship here and serve here. And Dawson yesterday said, sometimes I call this my second home. And I said, so is that a good thing or a bad thing? Oh, it's a good thing. I'm like, I'm so happy. Like, some ministry families don't feel that way.
Yeah.
And I believe that he genuinely loves being here around the staff, and it's because people love on our families. They don't treat them just as like preachers' kids or pastors' kids or whatever.
Yeah.
They love us and support us and can tell when we're having bad times just like everybody else, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really good. This year I am kind of piggybacking a little bit on that. I'm so grateful for two things: friends within this congregation, friends that will genuinely ask you how you're doing and care, and then my family, particularly my wife. And I don't mean to get all sappy, and I'm not trying to just get brownie points, but I am. The amount of work that moms do on a daily basis is staggering. And then, you have some moms that have, lots of kids, and then trying to orchestrate that, plus a husband that sometimes doesn't plan the best, and sometimes, adds to the schedule, and sometimes has these crazy ideas. And So I'm grateful for Macy's consistency and her willingness to continue to love and support her family. And that kind of dovetails into, for the church, I'm kind of like Brian said, I'm so grateful for, yes, the love, but also the support that the church gives to us, and that we get to not just be employees of the church, but members as well. And that is rare to find. And I'm so grateful for so many of you who encourage us, who do so many little things that we can't even add up that make us feel loved and appreciated. And I guess flowing out of that, just the way the church has been so generous this year. This year has been a year where there's been so many needs. It just feels like, as I think back, every month there's like several things that have popped up where someone needed money or someone needed support. And each time I think, I don't know, we've already asked for a lot of help. Like, I don't know, we've already asked for donations, we've already asked for help. And each time the church has just shown up and been incredibly generous. So I'm grateful for all of you. Mm-hmm. All right, final question. This one gets a little weird because why not? So we know Thanksgiving's about food. I love the food of Thanksgiving. I'm a comfort food kind of person. So first, what is your favorite Thanksgiving food? All right, so that one's simple. But then if you could pick one Thanksgiving dish or dessert that represents how this past year has gone for you, what would it be and why? I know all these abstract questions for my literal thinkers here.
I have one.
You got one?
Which he told us as a header, I would be like frozen. But I was thinking about it the whole time.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick the same food for both questions.
Oh, okay.
But I have a reason.
Nice.
It's really good noodles. I don't have noodles hardly any time of the year.
All
like
right.
homemade noodles?
Homemade noodles.
Okay.
My great-grandma, I helped her make them.
Okay.
You had to cut them with a knife.
We're talking long noodles?
Long noodles. You cut them all the way across the table.
All right.
With a paring knife.
Okay. Just all the way down.
And cut them because no machine could cut them the width that she wanted. So you had to do it manually. And I still think about that. And people in our family try to mimic that, Okay. But I think about how 1 week to the next this year has been like, sometimes I can take it, and sometimes this is like an awful year for, sometimes you felt like that. And I think about noodles, and like, I often come to a dinner, I'm like, okay, are these going to be like great noodles, or are they going to be really disappointing because I'm kind of picky? And the whole year has just been kind of like that. What's going to happen this week?
What's going to happen next?
But in the midst of it, some awesome things have happened. So.
You can taste
some awesome noodles.
You can find some awesome noodles.
Yeah, right.
Well, that was part of your gratitude, was you're thankful for that because you've learned so much through it.
Yeah, and it helps. Well, I just was talking to somebody the other day and saying it really helps me empathize with people who say, I've had a bad year and things keep breaking down, they don't have money to fix it and all that. And we hear that as ministers, like we meet people all the time in tough spots, and having a little bit of that in my life this year has been like, okay, I realize the amount of stress that puts people under, and how their attitude may not be the best, and they may snip at us or pick on things just because of what they're going through in life.
Yeah.
Noodles. I like it. I like it a lot. Do you need to think more? Because I can go if you want me.
Well, mine's going to make no sense.
Okay, we love it.
He
said noodles.
My favorite food of all time is mashed potatoes. Like, if I'm having a bad day, mashed potatoes can fix any.
Fills in the cracks of the
Yes, it does. But I eat mashed potatoes year round. It's not like I save them for Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Because that would be a crime. But I have this wild rice dressing, stuffing dressing that I make at Thanksgiving time that I really love. But it has a little bit of a lot of things. It's got wild rice and brown rice and mushrooms and bacon and almonds and just all the things. And I like it, and it makes a great soup with leftover gravy and a little leftover turkey. But I feel like that is my year, because sometimes it's like, this is the plan, and then it's like, well, let's just toss a handful of almonds in there, and okay, and then this is where we're gonna stop it, and then it's like, well, we're gonna toss a little bit of that in there. But yeah, it ends up being
pretty good.
Tasty.
It's pretty good. It's hard for me to pick just one thing that I love, but I'm going to do what you did, Brian. I'm going to pick the same thing. Turkey is just, when it's cooked well and it's waiting for you, and it took like a long time to prepare, and you get there, everything else is there, and I want all the other stuff too. Mashed potatoes is a close second with the gravy, but if you don't have that turkey, it just feels like you're missing something. And the food that would represent the year is the leftover turkey for dinner that you make the turkey sandwich out of. That would be the year. Because kind of like you, like there are things that you're like, I just want to put this away and not think about it. But then when you come back to it and you look over it and you say, this is actually really good. And I'm really glad that I've gone through this, or I'm really glad that I've experienced this, because it's still good, even though I just wanted to, put it away. Because after I eat that first round, I'm like disgusted with myself. I've gorged too much on this. But then you come back around and you're like, this is still pretty good.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you guys for answering. And those might be 3 questions that you want to ask people that you're around, or maybe around the dinner table. What are your favorite traditions, and are there any we want to add? What's something you're grateful for this year? What's something about the church you're grateful for? And then what's your favorite food? And if you could describe how your year has gone using some food, what would that be, and why? All right, let me finish with a blessing. This book is a book by the writer and author. That's the same thing. Mm-hmm. He's a writer and an author.
He's amazing.
When you write stuff, you're the author of stuff. I'm redundant. Happy Thanksgiving. The author, Max Lucado, called The Great House of God. And he talks about a bunch of different stuff, things that we can look forward to. But he has a chapter called The Kitchen. And I thought it was appropriate for Thanksgiving. And I want to read a segment of it. Where did I want to start? Here we go. He said this: God is not a mountain guru, only involved in the mystical and the spiritual. The same hand that guides your soul gives food to your body. The one who clothes you in goodness is the same one who clothes you in cloth. In the school of life, God is both the teacher and the cook. He provides fire for your heart and food for the stomach. Your eternal salvation and your evening meal comes from the same hand. I like that. There is a kitchen in God's great house, so let us journey downstairs and enjoy its warmth. And he was drawing this from the idea of, give us this day our daily bread. Do we saunter into the presence of God like I walk into the kitchen Thanksgiving Day and start picking on the food? Olives. Oh, you and Piper. So he says, you view God that way, as not just this, spiritual advisor who guards our soul, although he guards our soul. He is also in the kitchen waiting for us to come to him daily for our needs. And so he says there's 2 rules in the kitchen of God. There's 2 rules in God's kitchen. Number 1, don't be shy, ask. God knows what we need, and he is generous and cares for us. And just like your mom who might slap your hand and then give you a little piece, God is generous, and in his kingdom, he cares for our needs. And then the second, he draws that from Psalm 37. Trust in the Lord and do good, live in the land and feed on truth. Enjoy serving the Lord, and he will give you what you want. Depend on the Lord and trust in him, and he will take care of you. So don't be shy, ask. And then the second rule is trust the cook. And I like this one. Perhaps the most important difference between a kitchen and a restaurant is the menu. A kitchen does not have a menu. God's kitchen doesn't need one. Things might be different but in your house, but in the house of God, the one who provides the food is also the one who prepares the meal. Don't swagger into his presence and demand delicacies. Nor do we sit outside the door and hope for crumbs. We simply must take our place at the table and gladly trust in him to give us this day our daily bread. So don't be shy. Ask God for him to meet your needs, but also then remember that he is the cook and we trust in what he gives us. So with that in mind, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy it, and may you remember that God has given us all that we need, and we can show our gratitude to Him.
And have a second helping of potatoes.
Please do. Why not? Absolutely. God bless you all. We love you, and we're so grateful for each and every one of you. We'll see you here next week on the Ripple Effect Podcast.